Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. On day 4 of the winter session of Parliament, the Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says the country's second quarter growth has been the highest in the world. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate a 7-day-long festival at Delhi's iconic Red Fort, the first edition of the Biennale, a confluence of art, architecture and design, to begin on Friday. The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres invokes Article 99 of the UN Charter and formally warns the UN Security Council of the global threat from the Hamas-Israel conflict. And Greece and Turkey, they agree to reboot their relations, establishing a roadmap designed to usher in a new era of ties. Also, Team India lands in South Africa for a multi-format cricket series and receives a warm welcome from fans. The series is to start with the T20 internationals beginning Sunday. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman gave a detailed response to the opposition's criticism of the government's economic management. Speaking in the upper house, she pointed out how the Indian economy has continued to outperform its global peers on several parameters. She also made it clear that the government's expenditure has been targeted towards welfare of the less privileged sections of society. Let's look at this report.
The Indian government has sought an additional spending of 1.29 trillion rupees or $15.48 billion in the current fiscal year ending 31st March 2024. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, while replying to the debate for these supplementary grants in the upper house of Parliament, made a scathing attack at the opposition for not recognizing the strength of the Indian economy.
The Purchasing Managers Index in November 23 was 56, which is in the expansionary territory. Now, PMI has been in the expansionary territory for more than 29 consecutive months. So the sustained growth of manufacturing is very indicated by that. Now, again, a comparison for the manufacturing sector is comparatively, if you're looking at the major economies, including that of the United States of America, Australia, Eurozone, Brazil, China and South Korea, they have seen a contractionary manufacturing PMI.
She said the Modi government's financial inclusion program had created more than 510 million Jan Dhan accounts with debit card facility, insurance cover and overdraft facility. Pension schemes in the last 8 years have insured 595 million people, 20 times more than the previous dispensation. Over 10,000 Jan Aushadhi Kendras were opened with the aim to increase them to 25,000. These disburse medicines at nominal rates. National Health Insurance Program insured 385 million families with 30,000 rupees as cover, and the Ayushman Bharat program covered 278 million families with 500,000 rupees per annum cover.
There is an increase in the worker population ratio, and this is government's data. So youth unemployment rate, that is the age between 15 to 29, has declined. Unemployment rate has declined to 10% in 2022-23 from 17.8% in 17-18.
The Modi government built 336 million houses for the poor in 8 years compared to 125 years. Exports from India registered a growth of 6.21% despite global exports showing a declining trend. Indian products are more visible in American supermarkets, growing by 44%.
This is an article which was published in Wall Street Journal a leading US newspaper, on 28th November. It's not something which is old, 28th November. The title of that article was interesting. It said, virtually everything has gone right for India. And in that it says, rupee has lost, and I quote, rupee has lost less than 1% of its value against the US dollar this year, compared with the decline of more than 3% for the Chinese yuan, a roughly 9% fall in the South African rand, and an 11% slide in the Japanese yen. Indian economy is benefiting from reforms put in place by the government of Prime Minister Modi, unquote. This is Wall Street Journal telling about the Indian rupee versus the US dollar.
Government has focused on capital expenditure and 1.3 trillion rupees being released to state governments. The Indian rupee has performed better than other currencies, and the Indian economy has been recognized globally as an outlier. The finance minister highlighted how India is a world leader. The country is the second largest global producer of rice, wheat, sugarcane, groundnut, aquaculture and marine culture. It is also the second largest producer of mobile phones and crude steel, coal, aluminium. India has fast emerged as the country with the fourth largest renewable energy installed capacity, wind and solar power. Bureau Report, DD India.
And Thursday saw a smooth transaction of business in both houses of Parliament. It was day 4 of the winter session of Parliament, and the Lok Sabha, or the lower house, passed the Central University's Amendment Bill 2023, while the Rajya Sabha, or the upper house, witnessed discussion on the economic situation in the country.
Both houses of Indian Parliament saw smooth transactions on day 4 of winter session. The lower house, or the Lok Sabha, passed Central University's Amendment Bill 2023. Bill seeks to establish a central tribal university in Telangana. India's education minister announced that this central tribal university will be built at a cost of 200 crore rupees.
और शिक्षा ऐसा एक विषय है, इसको निरंतर प्रयास करने से आज कोई जाति उति की कई प्रकार की रचना की जाती है। मैंने तो आज शिक्षा की एक स्टैटिस्टिक दिया जिसमें हमारी कार्यकाल में एससी, एसटी, ओबीसी, वंचित वर्ग के लोगों की पढ़ाई की पार्टिसिपेशन बढ़ रहा है। आज तो देश में 4 ही जाति है, 4 जाति है। गरीब है वो एक जाति है, किसान एक जाति है, महिला एक जाति है, युवा एक जाति है। विकसित भारत के लिए 4 जातियों की शिक्षा आज की सम्यक्ता सारक का सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी की निवेदन लेके हम आए हैं।
Responding to a question in Lok Sabha, India's Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia informed Lok Sabha that Ministry of Civil Aviation has a tariff monitoring unit that looks at fares of 60 routes on a random basis.
कि जो economies of scale के argument है, उसके आधार पर आज जो हमारे नागर विमानन क्षेत्र में 2014 में केवल 6 करोड़ यात्री होते थे, पिछले 9 वर्षों में ये संख्या बढ़ के 14.5 करोड़ यात्री प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में संभव हो पाया है।
While in Rajya Sabha or Upper House, Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar spoke on a number of issues, including ties with the United States and trade ties with Latin America.
Today, our trade with Latin America is nearing $50 billion. We have a very significant flow of people there. There is a lot of services trade which is taking place in Latin America. We have also designated special conclaves for which Latin American delegations come here. So I would certainly be confident that we will see many more visits to Latin America, not just by me, but by my other ministerial colleagues as well.
The upper house also saw a discussion on the economic situation of the country. However, Rajya Sabha could not take 2 bills related to Jammu and Kashmir on Thursday due to paucity of time. Earlier in the morning, Prime Minister was given rousing welcome by members of Parliament of India's ruling party, the Bharatiya Janata Party. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dubbed the recent victory of the BJP in 3 states a result of team spirit. Rahul Upadhyay reporting for DD India.
Vocal for local and then global is the vision of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. At the Global Investors Meet in the Indian city of Dehradun, the Prime Minister Modi is going to launch the House of the Himalayas, which is an umbrella body that will showcase the Himalayan products to the world made by rural women. DD India correspondent Vishal Barristow caught up with the Secretary of the Rural Development Ministry of the state of Uttarakhand.
I am here at the International Uttarakhand Summit and I have with me Secretary R&D and we are talking about House of Himalayas. What is it? Let's find out. What is House of Himalayas?
So House of Himalayas is going to be the umbrella brand for the state of Uttarakhand, under which all the products, farm and non-farm, made by the self-help women group. So all of these women who reside in the Himalayan rural belt, they make these products and we want to take these products to the international market, and that we would do through this brand of House of Himalayas.
If we talk about brands, what are the number of brands and how much attractive are they for the international buyers?
Yes, so currently we have a number of brands that are run by various departments, and we were doing a lot of products under those brands. Now the initiative is to have one brand and one platform so that we could easily package, market and have them promoted at the international level.
Why this name House of Himalayas?
Yes, so we belong to the state of Uttarakhand, which is a state which is adorned by the Himalayas, and Himalayas as a word has a lot of international recognition and recall. And we also want to emphasize that these products are made in the houses. Himalaya ke jo gharon mein products bante hain. So that is the whole concept, because they are made by our rural women. So therefore products made in the houses of the Himalayas. Therefore we decided on this name.
One last question. Prime Minister has been very vocal about vocal for local and now local to global.
Yes.
So if we take our product to the international buyer, in what way will it help the village woman?
Yes, in fact, we have been inspired by Honorable Prime Minister's mantra of vocal for local and local to global. So we wanted to take our products to the global market, and with this, when we improve the quality, the marketing and the packaging, we will get premium for our products. So if we are selling something at ₹100, we would be able to sell it at a higher price, and this amount would be straight given to our rural women. So the whole idea of Prime Minister's vision of making Lakpati Didis, he wants to make these rural women Lakpati as soon as possible. So the whole idea is to empower them and their livelihoods.
So there you heard the Secretary. The vision is very clear, and that is to empower women and especially village women folk. With cameraman Alok Gupta in Dehradun, this is Vishal Barristow for DD India.
But still to come here on DD India News Hour. Several areas in the southern Indian city of Chennai continue to face waterlogging caused by heavy rainfall from cyclone Migjom. Italy has quit China's Belt and Road Initiative. The BRI agreement between the two countries expires in March of 2024, and Rome says that it's not going to renew the pact. Emergency is declared in the Seychelles after a huge explosion at an industrial zone on the main island of Mahé.
What are you watching, Dad?
Don't you often say, think before investing in the stock market? So I'm trying to gain some knowledge.
From whom?
That's this stocks expert. Makes great educational videos, gives good investment tips too.
Dad, don't rely on such videos. Do your own research or contact a SEBI-registered investment advisor. In the name of education, some influencers often misguide investors. You'll have to bear the losses.
Do you know there's an investor protection fund for investors, IPF, but if your trade isn't executed on the exchange or if it's some guaranteed return scheme, then even IPF will not be able to help you.
And what if your broker becomes a defaulter then?
In that case, IPF can provide you with compensation.
Where did you learn this?
NSE's website.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lin. Now, several areas in the southern Indian city of Chennai, they continue to reel under severe waterlogged conditions. This is caused by heavy rainfall from the cyclone Migjom. Now, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh conducted an aerial survey of the affected areas. Let's take a look.
Several areas in South Indian state of Tamil Nadu continued to reel under the severe waterlogging conditions caused due to heavy rainfall in the region following cyclone Migjom's landfall 2 days ago. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh conducted an aerial survey of affected areas and held discussions with the state's Chief Minister.
Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi is very distressed by the loss of lives in Tamil Nadu. Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi is personally overseeing the response to the current crisis and has spoken to the CM, Honorable Stalin ji also.
The Indian government has also released in advance its share of the second installment of the State Disaster Relief Fund of Rs 450 crore to Tamil Nadu. Also, the government approved first urban food mitigation project for Chennai Basin project.
Honorable Prime Minister has directed Ministry of Home Affairs to release the second installment of 450 crore to the Tamil Nadu State Disaster Response Fund. Since the problem of urban floods has been repeatedly witnessed by the Chennai in recent years, Government of India has approved a central funding of Rs 500 crore for urban flood management activities.
Meanwhile, the cyclone has caused widespread destruction. Acres of ready-to-harvest paddy crop damaged due to incessant rainfall. Schools and colleges continue to remain closed in several districts of Andhra Pradesh.
The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres' decision to use Article 99 of the UN Charter to urge the UNSC to intervene in Gaza has not gone down too well with Israel. Article 99 allows the Secretary-General to bring to the attention of the Security Council any matter, in his opinion, that may threaten world peace and security. Whether the Israel-Hamas conflict threatens world peace and security is a matter of opinion.
In a rare move, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres invoked Article 99 of the UN Charter and formally warned the Security Council of a global threat from Israel-Hamas conflict. Arab states seek to use this alert to push for a ceasefire in the coming days. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres on social media platform X said, "I've just invoked Article 99 of the UN Charter for the first time in my tenure as Secretary-General, facing a severe risk of collapse of humanitarian system in Gaza. I urge the Council to help avert a humanitarian catastrophe and appeal for a humanitarian ceasefire to be declared." In his two-page letter, Guterres told the Council that Gaza war may aggravate existing threats to international peace and security. A UN spokesperson said that Guterres invoked Article 99 as it allows him to bring the matter to the attention of the Security Council.
The Secretary-General has today delivered a letter to the President of the Security Council invoking Article 99 of the Charter of the United Nations. This is the first time that Antonio Guterres has done this since he became Secretary-General in 2017. Article 99 states, and I quote, that the Secretary-General may bring to the attention of the Security Council any matter in his opinion that may threaten the maintenance of international peace and security.
Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen has said that UN Chief Antonio Guterres' tenure was a danger to world peace after he invoked a rare procedure with the Security Council. Guterres' tenure is a danger to world peace. His request to activate Article 99 and the call for ceasefire in Gaza constitutes support for Hamas terrorist organization, unquote. India's Ministry of External Affairs also reiterated New Delhi's stand with regard to Palestine.
हमने जिस तरह से इस मुद्दे पर नजरिया रखा हुआ है, उसमें आप जानते ही हमारा ये पक्ष बहुत क्लियर है कि हमने कहा था कि उस तरह से टेररिज्म को किस तरह से हम अलग देखते हैं, किस तरह से वहाँ सिविलियन ह्यूमैनिटेरियन असिस्टेंस चाहिए होता है, किस तरह से हम लॉन्ग टर्म सोल्यूशन पैलेस्टाइन का आ सके। इस मुद्दे पे काफ़ी बार हमने अपना जो पोजीशन है उसको बताया है, क्लैरिफाई किया है।
About 800 high school students from across Israel traveled to Tel Aviv to decorate menorahs on the eve of Hanukkah in honor of the hostages still held in Gaza.
It's difficult because a lot of our people are in Gaza and our soldiers that are fighting for us. And Hanukkah is about the miracle that we are Jews and we didn't get killed. And it feels not very good this year because this year there are a lot of anti-Semitism and people want to kill us. So we need to fight back.
Israel on Thursday accused Hamas of firing 12 rockets towards Israeli civilians in southern Israel. Faiz Khan reporting for DD India.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday congratulated the Israelis on the Hanukkah Jewish festival. On the social media platform X, the Prime Minister wrote, and I quote, "Hanukkah Sameach. I extend my warmest greetings to our Jewish friends in India and around the world on the occasion of Hanukkah. May this festival bring peace, hope and brightness in everybody's lives." The External Affairs Ministry in India gave an update on the case of the former Indian Navy personnel who have been sentenced to death in Qatar. The External Affairs Ministry spokesperson said that there have been 2 hearings so far in the case, and the next hearing is also going to be conducted soon.
There have been 2 hearings. As you know, we filed an appeal, as is from the families, and the detainees had filed an appeal. 2 hearings have since been held. One, I think, on the November 30th. The other was on November 23rd. I think the next hearing is coming up soon. We are closely following the matter and extending all legal and consular assistance. Meanwhile, our ambassador got consular access to meet all 8 of, in prison on 3rd of December. And as I said, this is a sensitive issue, but we will continue to follow, and whatever we can share, we will do so.
Italy has quit China's Belt and Road Initiative. The BRI agreement between the 2 countries expires in March of 2024. Rome says that it's not going to renew the pact. In 2019, Italy became the first and so far the only major Western country to join China's trade and infrastructure program, ignoring warnings from the United States that it might let Beijing take control of sensitive technologies. Meanwhile, Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said that the country should improve trade and economic ties with China despite leaving the BRI. Well, differences between the European Union and China have overshadowed the summit on Thursday between their leaders in Beijing. It's the first time that they've met in person in 4 years because of COVID, that is. But the public comments from the 2 sides suggest that they are at least trying to be nice to each other, as Andrew Wood reports.
Well, the agenda of talks between President Xi Jinping and the presidents of the European Council, the European Commission, and also the European Union's Foreign Affairs representative, they could have spoken about a lot of things, anything from the war in Ukraine to what's going on in Israel and Gaza, artificial intelligence, trade relations, and so on. But not much has actually been released to the public on what they did talk about. There have been a lot of nice words said to each other, a lot of talk of reciprocation and mutual respect and cooperation and so on, and of their economies working together better, that the economies were complementary between the European Union and China. President Xi Jinping himself said that China and Europe should not view each other as rivals just because the systems were different, or reduce cooperation because competition existed, or engage in confrontation because there could be disagreements between the European Union and China, which is very nice things to say, but nothing particularly concrete. And to a certain extent, that was to be expected. Both sides have been playing down the possibility of a breakthrough at these talks. Certainly the European Union a couple of days ago, some of the senior officials were saying they didn't expect anything concrete as a result of these talks. China did want to raise the issue of European Union investigations into alleged subsidies in the electric vehicle industry, and the European Union said it was going to raise human rights issues, especially what's going on in the west of China, where Uyghur Muslims are said to be being treated badly. But otherwise, at least the two sides are talking. It's the first time that they've all been together in person to talk, so I suppose that's some progress. In Hong Kong, I'm Andrew Wood, reporting for DD India.
Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. A state of emergency has been declared in Seychelles after a huge explosion at an industrial zone on the main island of Mahé. The blast shook the island as heavy rains triggered flooding, killing 3 people and displacing several more. Train drivers of Germany's national railway Deutsche Bahn are on strike from Thursday to Friday, according to the GDL trade union, which represents these drivers. The strike will affect long-distance and regional trains, as well as commuter trains in the cities of Berlin and Hamburg. Harry Potter fans now get an immersive experience of the wizarding world with a new interactive exhibition which premieres in the German city of Cologne on December 8. The ongoing COP28 session in Dubai, which has been addressing climate concerns, is witnessing numerous activists as NGOs advocating for urgent climate action and funding. Their calls include advocating for more robust emission reduction targets, increased financial aid for developing countries, replenishing the loss and damage fund, and facilitating a just transition to a low-carbon economy. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum inaugurated the 4th phase of the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park in Dubai, unveiling the world's largest concentrated solar power project. With a 950 megawatt capacity, this innovative venture employs 3 hybrid technologies, including a record-setting solar tower and vast thermal energy storage. This landmark project aligns with the UAE's commitment to sustainability, contributing to global climate action goals and positioning Dubai as a leading hub in clean renewable energy. The Embassy of the UAE formalized a research partnership with the Observer Research Foundation, that's the ORF, in India, through a Memorandum of Understanding for a 12-month collaboration focused on fostering bilateral cooperation and influential dialogue. Particularly at the Raisina Dialogue, the strategic alliance encompasses 4 thematic pillars. These are UAE-India defense, industrial cooperation, advancing cooperation under the I2U2 framework in space technology, and UAE, India and the BRICS Plus, as well as COP28 and global climate narratives. This partnership aims to address critical global challenges and also contributes substantially or substantively to discussions on defense, technology, climate and global security. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. India's Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan inaugurates the Hindustan Aeronautic Limited's Avionics Expo 2023. Greece and Turkey formalized their commitment to fostering amicable, neighbourly relations by signing a joint declaration. India to host the first edition of the Art, Architecture and Design Biennale 2023. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to inaugurate the event.
What's behind China's mysterious wave of pneumonia that has gripped an unusually high number of children? And should the world be worried? Get your answers on Connecting the Dots at 8 p.m. IST every Friday on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Here's a recap of our main stories. On day 4 of the winter session of Parliament, the Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says that the country's second quarter growth has been the highest in the world. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate a 7-day-long festival in Delhi's iconic Red Fort, the first edition of the Biennale, which is a confluence of art, architecture and design, is going to begin Friday. Team India lands in South Africa for a multi-format cricket series and receives a warm welcome from fans. The series starts with a T20 International series that starts Sunday. And now going back to our top story on the Indian economy and the response of the Finance Minister in the Upper House. We have with us Dr. S.P. Sharma, who's Chief Economist of the PhD Chambers of Commerce and Industry. He's joining us live. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma. You know, the Finance Minister gave a comprehensive response. More than 1 hour she spoke. How is industry looking at the government's fiscal management?
Yes, fiscal management is on the right path as our growth numbers are becoming more and more strong, and when the growth becomes strong, then the fiscal deficit is also addressed. So we are growing more than 7% during the post-pandemic years. Like in the financial year 21-22, we grew more than 9.2%, and in last financial year we grew by 7.2%. So that is the growth trajectory of Indian economy, and the fiscal scenario, the inflation trajectory is also addressed. Inflation was high in the last many months, but recently, in the recent months, the inflation is also addressed, and inflation has come down from its peak of 7.4% in July 2023 to 4.8% last month. So yes, all the macroeconomic variables are very, very strong, and these are supporting the growth trajectory to move forward and to post new high growth. In the first quarter, we grew at the rate of 7.8%. In the second quarter, we grew 7.6%. So the overall, in the first half, the growth is 7.7%. That is a great thing which has happened in the Indian economy, as India has become the growth leader among the major economies.
Indeed. But Dr. Sharma, you know, the country is, as the Finance Minister said, the second largest global producer of rice, wheat, sugarcane, groundnut. She talked about aquaculture, marine culture. What is the potential? I'm talking about agriculture and the primary sector and the allied activities. What is the potential here?
Yeah, we have a great potential because during the last 5-6 years, if you observe the data, then our agricultural growth remains consistent, more than 3%, which has happened first time during the last 75 years. Agricultural sector is not able to grow consistently more than 3% for many years. We observed in 1970s, 80s, that there was no consistent growth in the agriculture sector. If the agriculture grows at 3 or 4%, then next year there was a dip in the agriculture growth rate. But recently, during the last 4 or 5 years, the agriculture growth is consistent, growing more than 3%. And the agriculture exports, as you rightly said, that we are a number 2 producer in many commodities, and we are becoming prominent in the growth trajectory of our exports. Our exports are increasing in a significant way, and our exports were at around $30 billion in 2021, then 21-22, we were at $40 billion, and 22-23 last year we posted more than $50 billion exports. So we are becoming prominent in the global export trajectory in the agri and food products. Yeah, but still we are only 0.7, 0.8% of the global agriculture and food exports. So we have a lot of room to move forward and to enhance this number to the level of $100 billion and $200 billion in the coming times. So aspirations are high, and this will create a lot of employment opportunities for the rural segment and rural people, and provide opportunities for the rural enterprises in the segment of food processing industry.
Yes. Dr. Sharma, also when we look at manufacturing, we see that there's a big boost in mobile phones. That comes to mind immediately. But to what extent can the related electronics manufacturing ecosystem also increase?
Yes, very true, because we were not that much prominent in the electronic manufacturing, but in the recent years, the focus is on manufacturing of the electronics goods like the mobile phones. Now we are the manufacturers, and not only we are fulfilling our domestic demand, but we are exporting to the other countries also. So the focus on ease of doing business is providing a great room for the manufacturers to expand their capacities and deploy more and more workforce in their respective factories for the more and more production and enhanced production possibilities. So manufacturing sector, I believe, is becoming prominent, and if during the last quarter, manufacturing growth was more than 10%. This was in high double-digit numbers. So that is indicating that our manufacturing sector is becoming strong and prominent, and that will support the growth at high levels. So the ease of doing business and the ease of compliances, like government is removing the compliances from the system. Like 40,000 compliances have been removed during the recent years from the which were very, very tedious for the businesses.
Yes.
So the business processes are becoming easier, and more and more ease of doing business will put the manufacturing sector on high road, and that will become a great vehicle of India's growth story to become a 5 trillion, 10 trillion, or even $20 trillion economy in the coming times.
So you talk about 5 trillion, 10 trillion, 20 trillion. Yes, that's talking about doubling. But do you see India's economy doubling in size by around 2030 from its current levels? Given, there's Gati Shakti in infrastructure, there's also growth in consumption. We are seeing 60% is already growth, consumption. There's digital presence across so many sectors.
Yes, digital economy is providing a great support to the economy as processes are becoming easier, and we are #1 in the digital transactions in the world economic system. We are more than China and US and other many economies in the Europe. So in the numbers, we will become a $4 trillion economy in the next financial year, and projections are that we will be a $7 trillion economy by 2030. The size of the economy will be the second largest in Asia and the third largest in the world economic system. So the GDP numbers are increasing consistently and in the high range, and the aspirations that we will become a 5 trillion, 10 trillion are going to become true in the next few years.
So you talk about consumption levels increasing, but is there a rural-urban divide that is being bridged? I mean, what is the potential really of rural demand?
Rural demand is a great growth driver of Indian economy, because our consumption story happens in the rural segment, as 66% people still live in the rural areas. So that's why rural demand is very important and strong for the Indian economy. And as I said, the agriculture sector is growing in the higher trajectory. So when the agriculture sector grows in a high trajectory and consistent growth happens in the agriculture sector, then that provides a great support to the rural demand. And government's programs like the social schemes, like the direct benefit transfers, are also supporting the rural demand. I think the rural demand will become more and more strong in the coming times as the global macroeconomic environment is going to be settled in the coming times, and inflation trajectory is also coming down, and the price pressures will not be there, and then the rural demand will become more and more prominent and supportive for the overall growth trajectory of Indian economy.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Dr. S.P. Sharma, Chief Economist of the PhD Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for putting that into context for us. Now, moving on to our next story, India's Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, inaugurated the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited's Avionics Expo 2023 at the Ambedkar International Centre. That's in the capital, New Delhi. HAL is showcasing its rich legacy in design, development and production of a diverse range of avionics systems. Let's look at this report.
A display for India's commitment to technological advancement in the defense sector. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, an Indian public sector aerospace and defense company, held an avionics expo in New Delhi. At the expo, HAL showcased state-of-the-art avionics to be used in a wide range of aircraft, including fighter jets and helicopters, along with other weapon systems. The expo was launched by India's Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan, who emphasized the pivotal role of technology in the evolving landscape of global geopolitics and economics.
We are all actually in midst of a great change or transformation. It's not only geopolitical change that's occurring, it's geoeconomic as well as technological changes. In such an era, it is essential that modern militaries are ready to fight while they prepare themselves for future kind of conflicts, and that in a very uncertain kind of an environment. In order to keep pace with this change, it is essential that militaries as well as the scientific community, entrepreneurs and developers understand and identify the key technological trends so that we can remain ahead of the curve.
The chairman and managing director of HAL called the expo an opportunity to reach out and create awareness among foreign buyers and claimed that HAL is aiming for a maximum indigenization in avionics sector.
Today we have all been talking about the Indian platforms, and the aircraft platforms have gained quite a wide importance in the global aerospace market. But equally important is the avionics and accessories, which also HAL is capable of doing it. This is very critical in the sense that this could become as a good replacement for the avionics which is otherwise available in the Western Western countries. In the next 5 to 7 year time frame, we wanted to really become self-reliant as far as the avionics is also. 100% may not be really possible, but to the maximum extent possible, not at least to 75 to 80%.
The Director for Research and Development called the expo a show of self-reliance.
Atmanirbharta, the self-reliance that the Prime Minister has given a call, we are working on that path, and today we are able to proudly showcase this, and it gives us the independence that we desire. Today we are not dependent on any foreign country, and we are able to develop this quality of equipment totally within the country.
The rapidly changing geopolitical and geostrategic scenario in the world has showcased one thing, that no power can be great without self-reliance in its defense requirements. And here in New Delhi at this Avionics Expo, the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited is exactly showcasing that how can India become a self-reliant power as far as its defense requirements are concerned, and how can it become a manufacturing hub for others as well. In New Delhi with camera person Ashish Sharma, I'm Akshay Dongre, DD India.
Greece and Turkey formalized their commitment to fostering amicable neighbourly relations by signing a joint declaration. Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan engaged in discussions with the Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis in Athens on Thursday, marking a significant visit aimed at rejuvenating relations between the two countries following a period of tension. Additionally, both parties agreed to elevate bilateral trade to $10 billion with a shared goal of further enhancing positive momentum in their ties.
We want to turn the Aegean into a sea of peace and cooperation. As Turkey, Greece, we want to set an example to the whole world with the mutual steps we will take. I am saying this openly. There is no problem between us that cannot be solved.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has issued a powerful call to the youth of the country, urging them to unite during this Amrit Kal and take on the role of Viksit Bharat ambassadors. Taking to X, which is formerly Twitter, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "Being a Viksit Bharat ambassador is an ideal way to combine our strengths, spread the development agenda and utilize our energies to fulfill our mission to make India a developed nation." Also, within the Namo app, a dedicated module named Viksit Bharat Ambassador has been introduced. This module presents a distinctive opportunity for individuals to engage in a 100-day challenge aimed at amplifying India's development narrative. Prime Minister Modi will also be meeting some of the most energetic and bright ambassadors. Senadoni of Giridih district in Jharkhand saw many activities held under the umbrella of the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra on Thursday. People were made aware about the various beneficiary schemes of the government through the Viksit Bharat Rath display. Now, people also shared the welfare that they have received because of these schemes. The Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, it continues to be progressing in full swing also in the district of Kathua, which is in Jammu and Kashmir. 8 panchayats of the Lohai, Malhar and the Dugan blocks, they were covered under the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. And people in large numbers, they thronged the venues to listen to the message of the Prime Minister of India. On the occasion, many beneficiaries expressed their views under the Meri Kahani, Meri Zubani enthusiastically. So they're telling their stories about what they've received. Now, various events related to Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra were held in Beluwakan village, which is in Nainital district of Uttarakhand. Many officials from all over the district gathered to share information about various government schemes benefiting the public. The people also voiced the changes and developments brought about by the efforts of both the centre and the state governments. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. The Indian cricket team was greeted by a rousing reception as they landed in Durban on Thursday. And Sarajevo Festival of Lights has illuminated the botanical garden of the National Museum in the Bosnia for the first time.
Walking the climate talk amid a barrage of promises, commitments, pledges and announcements at the COP28 in Dubai. Know it all on Connecting the Dots every Friday at 8 p.m. IST on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Now, India will be hosting the first edition of the Art, Architecture and Design Biennale 2023. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be inaugurating this event in Delhi, which will see thousands of participants from across the country descend on Red Fort and witness the confluence of art and architecture. Dibyendu Mondal reports.
India is all set to begin with the first edition of the Art, Architecture and Design Biennale 2023. The iconic Red Fort will host the week-long Biennale that will showcase some of the marvels of India. Biennale 2023 is being organized by the Indian Ministry of Culture. It is a confluence of modern and ancient art, architecture and design from across the country. Based on uniquely designed 7 themes, the 7-day-long festival will be complemented with exclusively curated events.
The Ministry of Culture is extremely delighted to have the first edition of the India Art, Architecture and Design Biennale inaugurated by none other than our Honorable Prime Minister. In fact, it flows from his vision, which was announced in Kolkata in 2020, whereby he had expressed a desire that he would want to see developments through heritage, which is Virasat Se Vikas.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Biennale on the 8th of December in New Delhi. He will be witnessing the canvas of modern art and ancient architecture at the Red Fort, where the 2023 edition of the Biennale is being hosted this year. The exhibitions are based on themes like the Doors of India, Gardens of India, the Temples of India, Architectural Wonders of Independent India, the indigenous designs and women in architecture. Not just this, The exhibition will be accompanied by interactive installations, both in physical and digital forms, for an immersive experience.
I use this platform of this channel to invite all of you, because entry is free and this is open to all. This will be open from the 9th after the inauguration, 9th of December till the 31st of March 2024 for almost 115 days for tourists, students, academic colleges, fine art institutions, architects. There is also a small program which involves the 406 architecture and planning schools, which will get inaugurated on the 9th, called Samunati, which is dedicated specifically to architecture and design.
The 7-day will also see several artists from across the country gather to discuss and hold interactive sessions. These sessions will enlighten the audiences and build awareness of India's built heritage.
This confluence of art, architecture and design, which will be on display here at Red Fort for the next 1 week, will also bring thousands of artists from across the country to witness some of the marvels and creations from across India. This Biennale, the first edition, will also give an opportunity for many budding artists to pursue their dreams. With camera person Manmohan, this is Dibyendu Model from New Delhi for DD India.
Well, India is observing the 74th Armed Forces Flag Day on Thursday. The day serves as a tribute to the martyrs and the brave men in uniform who valiantly defended India's borders, preserving the honor of the flag. Flag Day emphasizes India's commitment to caring for its war-disabled soldiers, Veer Naris as well, or the brave women and the families of martyrs who make the ultimate sacrifice for the country. The day has been observed annually since 1949. And on Armed Forces Flag Day, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that we honor the courage, commitment and sacrifices of our brave soldiers. Their dedication in protecting our nation is unparalleled. The Prime Minister urged the citizens to make contributions to the Armed Forces Flag Duty Fund. And you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for the sports news. Well, the Indian cricket team was greeted with a rousing reception. The players and the members of the support staff arrived in Durban on Thursday ahead of their T20 international series against South Africa. The 3-match series will mark the start of a full-fledged series and a tour, which will also have 3 ODIs and a much-anticipated 2 test matches. So the Indian players, led by the captain Surya Kumar Yadav, left for South Africa on Wednesday and reached Durban on Thursday. Surya Kumar Yadav captaining in the T20 international format. India's Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur unveiled a roadmap for India's rise in the Winter Games, commissioned by the administration of Ladakh. The blueprint, Game Changer, is poised to redefine the future of ice hockey and winter sports across India. Ladakh holds the key with its potential to not only nurture local talent, but also boost winter tourism, creating a win-win for the community and the nation. Game Changer is not just a document, it's a roadmap to propel India into the realm of 2042 Winter Olympics.
This will help us to make Ladakh an important international destination for ice hockey in the world, capitulating India on the international stage. A winter sport like ice hockey has multiple benefits for the local community, as it helps unite a community behind a sport that they can associate and enjoy during the winter's time. It provides an additional source of livelihood for the local community who have heavily dependent on tourism, which is predominantly oriented towards the summer months. We've been discussing this for last couple of years with the earlier LG and the present LG also. And I'm glad they have taken it to the conclusion, and I'm grateful to the Royal Enfield team for making this happen. I mean, At times it looked like कि ये सब क्लब्स तक ही खेलते रहेंगे, लेकिन एक भविष्य का ब्लूप्रिंट तैयार किया, उसके लिए मैं आप सबको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं. This blueprint is game changer and will certainly pave the way to enable an Indian ice hockey contingent to participate in the 2042 Winter Olympics.
Well, the Sarajevo Festival of Lights has illuminated the botanical garden of the National Museum in Bosnia for the first time. The festival features an exhibition comprised of light installations showcasing Bosnia's cultural and natural heritage. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lynn from all of us here at Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.